My name is Joseph Gaxiola. Some of you might remember when my other half, Edward, and I used to do More Geek Than Gay. I was part of that podcast. But things got busy and that podcast stopped. But you are still able to see some videos, and every so often he posts geek-related stuff on there. I don't know when it's going to be back. He says it's going to be back one day, but I don't know. So I figure I'm going to start my own, because at least I could do a schedule on my own. So this is a quick little intro video of myself for those of you who don't really know. Once again, my name is Joseph. I live here in Phoenix, Arizona. Edward and I have in April of 2016. Edward and I will be together for 8 years. I have 3, sometimes 4 jobs. I work for my mom doing data entry for her medical billing every so often. I sell party light candles every so often. I'm a personal assistant to Jeannie Koch, and her website is GINIKOCH.com. She is a science fiction author. Book 12 of her Alien Kitty Cat series with Daw, which is a division of Penguin Random House, came out on December 1st, and she's contracted up to book 15 with them. It's a great series, and I'm not saying that because I work for her, but I was a fan of hers and a friend of hers before I started doing this. She also writes under a variety of other pen names in any genre that you have that's out there. She writes it. I'm also the chairman and director of Joshua Tree Feeding Program, which is a food pantry for the HIV/AIDS community here in Phoenix, Arizona, Maricopa County. I'm also the treasurer of the Gay and Lesbian Association of Darts. So I play darts every Tuesday nights with the Cobalt Cubs. Yay, Cubs. We've been together for 7 years, and we are the oldest team that the Cobalt bar sponsors. Let's see. Like I said, I've been with Edward for 8 years. We have multiple animals. One of them, Mama, who is a cat, who is just completely trying to get my attention right now off to the side. So when you see me glancing over, that's because of her. And let's see if she's going to try to bum rush the camera. The reason why I'm doing this is because there's some things I want to say, things I want to do. Some of it's going to be gay, some of it's going to be geeky stuff, some of it's going to be Broadway stuff, some of it is going to even be sports because I watch football. Mostly college, but I also watch NFL. I also like baseball. I like sports. I used to work for a sports magazine called Compete Sports Diversity Magazine, and when I had my interview with the publisher, it was funny because he said that I like the bizarre sports because I like the America's Cup, I like golf, I like the Olympics, I even like to watch curling, and so I like sports, so I'll be talking about sports every so often as well, so there's your heads up. I'm an Arizona native. I lived most of my life except for 14 years, 13 years, 14 years. Yeah, something like that. Here in Arizona. I'm from a little mining town that most people in Arizona don't even know exist. It's called Morenci, Arizona. It's a copper country, so it's up in the mountains. It is 4.5 hours east of Phoenix, 2.5 hours east of, northeast of Tucson, and 30 miles from the New Mexico border. So I'm a little home hick from the hills, but not really, because I only lived there for the first 7 years of my life, and then the rest of the time, from 7 to 20, I lived in Phoenix. Ow, she just bit me. I lived in Phoenix, and then from 20 to 34, so 14 years, I lived in San Diego, California. I've been in, let's see, how many relationships? David was my first one for 18 months, then Scott for 9 years, Will 18 months, Jeff for 3, Mark for 18, and then Edward for 8. Well, almost 8. So 6 relationships. Um, yeah, that's about it that I could think of. I would just wanted to do this as a really quick little blurb. Uh, Tell you that, I am going to be coming out and starting to do this. I don't know what Edward's reaction will be because, he's might be a little upset that I'm doing this without him. But this is my baby, and More Geek Than Gay is his. Let's see what else is going on. As a real quick thing, today is in January 11th, so I'll be watching the NCAA championship game in the bedroom all alone because we have a roommate, and of course, Edward and I. There's 3 of us living here along with all the menagerie of animals, and the boys don't like sports, so I watch sports in the bedroom while they watch Cartoon Network. It's funny because, as they put it, they don't know they know who's winning or losing by the way I yell at the television. Yes, I am a yeller. I get that from my family. I'm a huge Arizona State Sun Devil fan for college. For NFL, I was a San Diego Chargers fan. I'm on the fence right now just because of the politics of it, because how they're trying to leave San Diego and try to strong arm the city. I don't like what they're doing. I'm not a fan of theirs right now, but it's a wait and see kind of a thing. Baseball, San Diego Padres, because living here, growing up in the 70s and the 80s, it was a college town. We didn't have the Diamondbacks in Arizona. We didn't even have the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals was 1986, I believe, when they came here. And the Diamondbacks, I think, didn't start until like 98, 99, and I was already living in San Diego, so I was a Padres fan. San Diego Padres. Anaheim Ducks for NHL, just because they were owned by Disney. I'm a huge Disney file, and I do all things Disney. One of the things that Jeannie and I do, we do at least, I believe, 4 Comic Cons a year, roughly. We do Phoenix, Tucson, San Diego, and just a little, whatever little one is that we have time for. We also do Tucson Festival of Books. She does workshops that I join her with. We've got a workshop this weekend. Romance Writers up in northern Arizona, which I believe is in Prescott or Flagstaff. I don't know for sure, but we're going up north on the 16th for the day and then come back. Trying to think. Joshua Tree just had a very successful food drive. Well, I shouldn't say they had this food drive. Around the holidays, people in the community, both the straight and the gay community, do a lot of fundraisers and food drives for Joshua Tree Feeding Program. And between the businesses, bars, organizations, groups, and then even a couple of individuals who had holiday parties that, instead of like a friend of Joshua Tree and a friend of mine, Ted, he had a Cosmos and Cookies party on Christmas Eve, and all the leftover cookies were donated to Joshua Tree. So things like that. Because of all those organizations and all those parties and all those groups, there was 2,400 pounds that were donated to Joshua Tree Feeding Program, so that was a great thing. One thing I wanted to talk about Joshua Tree is the fact that yes, we are we do provide for the HIV/AIDS community. We are not a normal food bank. We are a food pantry, meaning most food banks, when you go, you sign up, you get your box, and they say thank you and you can leave. With us, we're a food pantry. Our food room is set up as a little store. You have your meat products in one area, canned goods, bread and pastries, dairy, yogurt, and then produce, all in their own little areas. And we have volunteers, and we also have, cardboard thing saying one, two, or three. So our clients pick and choose what they want. So no food is wasted, and you don't get stuck with a can of green beans if you don't like green beans. You could bypass the can of green beans if you want. It's also not like most. I shouldn't say it's not. It's not like how the food banks used to be back in the, with the joke in the 80s is like the government cheese. No, we get some nice stuff. We've signed some contracts with some very good stores, grocery stores, and convenience stores. So we get some nice stuff. And I'm not saying that because I'm part of the organization. I'm saying that because I'm surprised. I've gotten lamb, I've gotten some Gouda cheese. I've gotten some. There's this loaf of bread that comes in that I really, really, really like and want when it comes in. It's a rosemary bread, or bread with a bread with rosemary in it, and it's really good. We get gluten-free stuff for our clients that are have the celiac disease. We do have a couple vegetarians, and so we also have a pet program, pet assistance project, which provides for our clients cat and dog food free. So that way nobody gets to pick and choose whether they get to be fed or their animals get to be fed. Once again, like I said, I've been with Edward for 8 years, so that means I'm gay. Shocker there. I mean, I've already mentioned the fact that we used to do more geek than gay, so no surprise. Trying to think of what else. I have a large extended family. I am Mexican. Couldn't tell with my purple hair, I'm sure. I decided to go purple for the holidays, and actually kind of like it. I've never done multicolor and stuff. Back in college, I used to dye my hair blue-black because that was the in thing back in the late 80s and early 90s when you were goth. Go blue-black. And I'm saying a lot, which really, really annoys me when people do that. Sometimes silence is good. But I don't think you could really do silence for a podcast, especially when it's supposed to be something short like this. So I'm going to be doing probably at least once a week, short little vignettes. I've figured nothing more than a half hour, just talking what's on my mind. Everything I state on this is my own opinion, not associated with anybody, any organization, anything, unless I have them on with me. Maybe Jeannie might be here for an interview. Maybe I might take you to Joshua Tree. Maybe I might show you some clips of when we go out and about on the book tour and some of these Comic-Cons. You may never know. You might see stuff from Phoenix Comic-Con or even the Biggie, the San Diego Comic-Con. Who's to know? Let's see how this goes. Oh, also, leave a comment because I have no idea what the hell to call this. I'm just saying me. Right now, it's my own ideas. Take care.